Good Monday morning, friends. Hope you're all having a wonderful start to your week. The first full week of the new year. As I'm recording this is the first day I had been back to work. It's kind of a stormy, yucky day outside. Actually, I picked up some loose comics that I'm working on bagging and boarding here. And I thought I'd check in with you with a Monday motivation to help you get through your week. A lot of feedback that this, of all the videos I've been doing recently, is one that you'd like to see continue. So I'll try to continue it as best I can. Our word for today is gracious. Gracious. That's what we're going to talk about this Monday. The definition of gracious being marked by kindness and courtesy. Fairly simple definition, but a lot there to unpack. If you think about kindness and courtesy, those are a lot of the ways I try to live. Our quote is from John Wesley, English theologian, the founder of the Methodist movement in Christianity. A lot of quotes come from John Wesley. The quote is, "We should be rigorous in judging ourselves and gracious in judging others." And I enjoyed that quote. It really resonated with me and became something I thought that we should talk about today, because we have become a society that is so quick to judge others, to cancel others, the cancel culture we have, to talk about people when they make mistakes or when they just do something that is not what we would do or we don't like, whether or not it's a mistake or right or wrong. It's just something we wouldn't do. And the nature of this culture is one that spreads, and people want to join on the bandwagon and hold up your torches and burn people. And that's a toxic culture to be a part of. And graciousness, in Wesley's quote, he's talking about we should be looking at ourselves deeply and rigorously, judging our own actions, making sure that we're being the person that we should be. But we don't have to be so strict with other people. A lot of other people's business is not our business. And we should have more grace, more understanding. An example, I try to always give you a personal example from my life. I hope that never again, and it's been a long time since I got upset with a server at a restaurant and allowed me to not tip them because of their service for me. Now, it's possible. There's certainly situations where you could feel there's gross negligence or intentionality. That's not what we're talking about, but maybe your drink's not getting filled up just quite as fast as you would like, or your food takes a little longer, or whatever. Something that you view as an inconvenience, but is not gross negligence, is not the person left for an hour or something like that. I try to just tip normal all the time, and then when I get exceptional service, tip exceptional. That's my kind of rule, because these people that are working in the service environment, especially if they're the servers, that's why I talk about this specifically, are making less than minimum wage and are relying on this to feed their families. And I don't want to rob that. If I got my food, I got my drink, I was able to have my meal, then I'm going to tip accordingly. Now, why that's related to graciousness here is sometimes people are having a bad day. And you and I, we have bad days at work, right? But unless you work in a tip environment, a bad day where you just aren't feeling it at work doesn't impact your pocketbook. If I have a bad day at work, my check's not any less. Somebody doesn't take some money away because I was a little frustrated on a meeting, or I was distracted because a personal situation happened with a relative or an illness or a financial situation. It doesn't take money out of my pocketbook. That's not for me to decide why I should take money out of their pocketbook. And I try to remember, that person, well, the service may not have been everything I wanted. They may not have smiled as much. They may not have been as warm. Maybe they just had a bad day. Maybe they just got some devastating news on the phone. Maybe they don't feel well. Maybe their significant other, their child, somebody is sick at home. And I try to show graciousness. I try to show kindness and courteous to them because it's the right thing for me to do. Not because of anything they did. Remember, we want to act in a way that is the way you believe you should act, not as a response to someone else. You want to be proactive, not reactive. That's in everything. In everything you do, you want to do your best to be in a position to be proactive and not reactive. Make decisions in a way because that's the way you think is the way to do best, and not because, well, this is the only option I have because a situation came up. In my workplace all the time, we're dealing with that. We're trying to prepare ourselves to be proactive, make proactive suggestions, make proactive improvements, instead of having to react when something negative happens. So, in the world of graciousness, showing kindness, showing courteous, we hear that with a host. Oh, you've been such a gracious host when you've come over to somebody's house. Usually that means they had food prepared, they offered you a beverage, you had a nice place to sit, the home was clean. It just means they put forth their best in what they did. And that's the way I like to think about it, is putting forth our best and being gracious. When we look internally, be rigorous, be strict, judge yourself. But when we're looking outward at other people, it's not our place to be judge, jury, and executioner. It's not our place to act like we know everything about a given situation. And I'm talking about normal everyday stuff, right? There's certainly really bad things that happen in the world, but even still, why be in a hurry to be the first one to condemn something? What does that gain you other than you just get to be in line? So I just encourage you to try to live with more graciousness in your life. Try to demonstrate it to your coworkers, to your boss, to your children, to your family members, to your significant other, to your friends. Just go one step further this week in being gracious. And that doesn't require any money at all. It just requires having an attitude of showing graciousness to people, being kind and being courteous, holding a door for somebody, pulling out the chair for your significant other if they would like that, telling somebody they appreciate them, whatever the case may be. So let's strive this week to live with more graciousness, and I'll talk to you next time.